But I don't want to diminish the. I mean, I think the profit motive is a good one if the rules of an industry are properly set up.
You know, I find if I'm stressed about something, it's usually because I'm not doing anything about it. If I'm stressed about something, I'm trying to figure out, why am I stressed? I'm listening to my body as a signal that something is awry. And then I find that the stress goes away the second I take the first step, identify the source of the stress.
World Wide Web usage was growing at something like 2,300% a year. And that was sort of a wake-up call for me that there was something going on. And many people at that point hadn't heard of the web, they didn't have internet access. This was the time of 28 kilobit per second modems and dial-up access and so on and so on. So it's a very different age.
You know, I would say that if you can find friends who are interested in similar things or want to help you solve a problem. Problem solving is inspiring for me all by itself. As long as I have allies, there's nothing more fun than getting in a room with a group of inventors.
There was clear that there was going to be something there, and I realized you could make a bookstore on the web that could hold more books than a physical bookstore could ever hold. It could truly have universal selection. And of course, you know, since then we've expanded that into other categories and we keep pursuing that notion of Earth's biggest selection at Amazon.
Day 2 is stasis, followed by irrelevance, followed by excruciating, painful decline, followed by death. And that is why it is always day 1.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. If you live each day as if it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right. It made an impression on me, and since then, for the past 33 years, I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no, I know I need to change something. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane. Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? It's a lot of hard work, and if you don't love it, you're going to fail. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. All fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose.
I'm not sure I learned this when I was at Apple, but I learned it based on the data, and that is I now take a longer-term view on people. In other words, when I see something not being done right, my first reaction isn't to go fix it. It's to say, we're building a team here and we're going to do great stuff for the next decade, not just the next year.
2001 was just touring a friend of mine, and he asked me what we can do after PayPal, and I thought, well, I was wondering, I'd like to get involved in space, but I just didn't think there's anything I could do as an individual, but I was curious as to when NASA would be sending a team to Mars, because that was always going to be the thing to do after the moon. I figured that there'd be some plan, and I'd just go to the website and the schedule.
And so, what do I need to do to help so that the person that's screwing up learns? Versus how do I fix the problem? And that's painful sometimes. And I still have that first instinct to go fix the problem, but that's taking a longer term view on people is probably the biggest thing that's changed. And then I don't know, that's maybe the part that's biological.
As Jonah was alluding to, there are a lot of negative things in the world. There's a lot of terrible things that are happening all over the world, all the time. There are lots of problems that need to get solved. There's lots of things that are miserable and kind of get you down. But life cannot just be about solving one miserable problem after another. That can't be the only thing. There need to be things that inspire you, that make you glad to wake up in the morning and be part of humanity. That's why we did this.
I do think what this heralds really is fundamentally a new era in spaceflight, a new era in space exploration. We're going to go to the moon, we're going to send people to Mars, and make life multiplanetary. And I think this day heralds a new age of space exploration.
Earth is the cradle of humanity, but you cannot stay in the cradle forever. It is time to go forth, become a star-faring civilization, out there among the stars, expand the scope and scale of human consciousness. I find that incredibly exciting. That makes me glad to be alive. I hope you feel the same way.
If you sing from your heart, if you sing naturally, if you are yourself, so I realized. And I learned a lot from the movies, even learned from the Godfathers. My favorite movie is Forrest Gump, These are the things I learned so much. Then we discuss about the muse, the inspirations we got from movies.
From people at SpaceX, people at NASA. I mean, so much. 18 years. This has been 18 years to finally fly people to orbit and back. And I mean, I really came here because I just wanted to see Bum Doug, to be totally frank. Thank goodness.
20 years ago, I came to America. My first trip to America, to Seattle. Before that, I learned so much about America from my books, from my teachers, from my school, and my parents. And I think I know enough about America. But when I came to America, I saw totally wrong. America is not what I learned from the books.